Sorry, I don't know why it's not working for me, but
Okay, everyone's coming.
great.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you for waiting while we get some tech issues figured out. My name is Anna Miskolta. I'm the Director of Community Resilience at Thrive Alliance. We have a relatively cozy group here today, so I'd like it if we could just popcorn around and introduce ourselves. Let us know if you're representing a nonprofit or a business. And let's actually start with Thrive staff. Petra, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm Petra Sultan. I'm the Senior Director of Programs for Thrive Alliance, and I will hand it over to our fabulous AmeriCorps Vista.
Hello, I'm Dea Elazari. I am the AmeriCorps Vista for Environment and Sustainability, and I work at the Stanford Haas Center of Public Service. I'll hand it over to Kirsten.
I'm Kirsten Sheedak. I'm Thrive's Programs and Operations Manager, and I will hand it to Anna.
How about we go to Andrea? Going once, going twice. How about John McKenna?
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I was just relocating. Yes, I'm Andrea Papachan. I'm with the City of Millbrae. Thank you. How about to Liz?
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm also in the Environmental Programs Department at the City of Millbrae. I guess go to Lawrence.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Lawrence Nussbaum. I'm with Environmental Innovations, and we run the San Mateo County Green Business Program, which I am going to present on today.
John, would you like to go next?
Yes, sorry, I was distracted. Yeah, John McKenna. I'm live in Menlo Park, just a local volunteer climate advocate. And I don't know who hasn't gone.
All right, let's go to Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie Mytels. I'm with a number of organizations, but mostly interested in being here to find out what the program might do to support houses of worship, because I'm head of Peninsula Interfaith Climate Action, and a number of the congregations are working on electrifying their facilities.
That's exciting. Nicole.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Angel. I'm with Carbon Cutout and Environmental Consulting Business. Good to see you all.
Larry, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I wear a couple of hats. Larry Staley. I do computer modeling work and sustainability, including metrics and use of measures and so forth. I'm also a resident of Foster City, and I'm on our City Sustainability Advisory Committee. And Debbie, I want you to know that my church, Hillsdale UMC in San Mateo, we were the first church to install solar, at least for Methodist Church, west of the Mississippi. How's that?
Bravo, bravo.
Tracy.
Tracy put in the chat her introduction because she's answering the door. How about Michelle?
Hello, I'm Michelle. You'll have to forgive my camera. I'm actually eating off camera, but it's good to see everyone here. I work with Actera as their community engagement associate. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. It looks like we have a good mix of folks in the room, some cities, faith-based organizations, nonprofits. So this is a good group. I'm going to go ahead and do just a brief overview of some upcoming events that might be of interest to the group, and then I will pass it on to Lawrence to tell us all about updates to the Green Business Program in San Mateo County. All right, bear with me a moment. Alrighty. So on November 15th, Thrive and SBCN are going to be hosting the second annual Nonprofit Racial Justice Summit at Epicenter. We have our keynote speaker, Angela Glover Blackwell from Policy Link, who's also an attorney, has a very, very interesting background. And everyone is welcome at this event. This is great if your organization is just learning about racial equity, racial justice, or if you just want to network. Even if you're seasoned, this is just a wonderful way to get together with other racial justice advocates across San Mateo County and Santa Clara County. I believe registration is already open for this, so one of us will drop the link in the chat so that you can register. Thrive's annual holiday mix and mingle. This is an event that we do every year. We invite our legislative aides at the county level. And Petra, can you jump in? Do we have leg aides from the state as well?
Yes,
or is it just county?
We have all kinds of leg aides coming to this, but you all are welcome as well. It's our big holiday party and it's a lot of fun. We're going to be having it at CZI. And we'll have some nice appetizers for you too. So please join us for that. It's kind of our biggest fun thing that we do.
Yeah. I would say it is the funnest event that Thrive does all year. And there's usually good cookies and sometimes wine. So please come, come and hang out with us. Thrive Rise monthly meetings. We actually just had our last one yesterday. This is for the county-wide COAD for the county. We discuss all matters related to disaster risk reduction and resilience. Yesterday, we talked about earthquake mitigation. On November 29th, last Wednesdays of the month. So on November 29th, we'll have our next meeting, which will be focused on flood insurance. And we'll have a speaker from United Policyholders come and talk to us about what the difference is between flood insurance and regular homeowners, renters policies, how to get flood insurance, some known kind of bugs in the claim process. We're really trying to get prepared for a potentially wet winter season with El Nino conditions. So this is great for organizations, especially if you want to bring this information back to community members. We will also be dropping a link in the chat for this in a bit. For those who have not heard of our nonprofit Ready Hub, this is a relatively new resource, also in collaboration with SBCN, like the Racial Justice Summit. This is a website, we'll put the link in the chat, where there are resources, trainings, all basically a kit for your organization to begin training and socializing principles of DEI and racial justice in your organizational system. So it's a great tool to explore. Scan the QR code or look in the chat. And this is just going to keep growing. So it's a great place to check back for resources. All right, finally, but last but not least, our translation hub. We offer free translation services to San Mateo County nonprofits. We offer them primarily in Spanish and Tagalog. But I believe there may be room for expansion in the future. Ask us. So this goes for written translation and also live interpretation. So as I spoke about, racial justice, DEI, equity, we're encouraging organizations to think through how inclusive their events are, how inclusive their materials are, and take advantage of this free resource. It is free. You can get materials, interpretation in different languages for free. So please reach out to us if you're interested in learning more or getting some interpretation for your event. All right, with that.
Right, before you start, can you go back to slide number 2? So we actually have our next environment and sustainability tag planned. There it is. So Dea, do you want to speak to it a little bit?
Yeah, so this is a training for a federal funding navigator, which is all based off money from the Inflation Reduction Act. And it's a partnership we have with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So we will have Jennifer Gottlieb Elazari come in. She's the Director of Public Housing for the state of Connecticut, and she'll be talking about this federal funding navigator, which has money for all different types of projects relating to energy efficiency, broadband, lead and healthy homes, and so much more. So yeah, everything relating to environment funding from the Inflation Reduction Act. Okay.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I missed that one. All right, with that, I am going to hand it over to Lawrence to tell us a bit more about the Green Business Program.
Great. And I believe I got my screen share to work. So let's see if this works now. Oh, it's still not working. So if you can share on my behalf, Anna, that would be great. I believe you're muted, Anna, if you were trying to communicate. Oh, great. There we are. Okay. So can everybody hear me okay? Great. So my name is Lawrence Nussbaum, as we said, and I work for a company called Environmental Innovations. We are a sustainability consulting firm that does a number of things, but we really specialize in green business. We run the statewide Association of Green Business Programs around California, and then we run green business programs on behalf of different municipalities. So for the past several years, we have been running the San Mateo County Green Business Program on behalf of the County of San Mateo Office of Sustainability. So many of you have probably heard about the Green Business Program. It's been around for several years, and I recognize some names here on the meeting today, so it's nice to see you all. For others, it may be new. So I'm going to just cover the basic of what the program is, what it does, and then also for those that have been following this over the years, just give you a sense of what's new with this program, how we've kept it updated and relevant to provide resources to local businesses and organizations. So just to start, what we do in our Green Business Program is provide free technical assistance, resources, and financial incentives to small and medium-sized businesses and organizations. We provide these services in both English and Spanish, and we do have a partner that is helping us reach out to Chinese-speaking businesses as well. So when I talk about green business, I also just want to stress that it is not just for small businesses. Our program is also for organizations, for nonprofits, for faith-based entities, as well as for local agencies. So we have certified even government offices as part of the Green Business Program. So in addition to the free technical assistance, resources, and financial incentives, we recognize and promote and market businesses for their green accomplishments. And we provide a local green marketplace for consumers and employees. So how does it work? Or who and how? The program is housed at the San Mateo County Office of Sustainability. So OOS is the funder of this program. It has been housed in their office basically since their office was created. However, over the past several years, they have contracted with our organization, Environmental Innovations, to be the implementing entity of this program. So we run the program on behalf of the Office of Sustainability. The San Mateo County program is part of the statewide California Green Business Network, which I'll talk about in a moment. But basically, we share branding, performance measures, database support, and marketing at a statewide level with other green business programs that are operating around the state. We offer an easy-to-use framework and in-person technical assistance to help businesses green up their operations. We provide rebates and we provide education. We also coordinate with county programs, with the local cities, with waste haulers, water districts, utilities, and other community partners to bring resources to the small businesses and organizations that we work with. And then finally, we support and promote businesses with a lot of promotion and marketing support. Next slide, please. So again, our program is part of the statewide California Green Business Network. There are 48 green business programs around the state. You can see them outlined here in the dark green, and the light green are areas where we are just establishing new green business programs. So collectively, there's over 4,500 recognized businesses statewide. I think we're closer to 5,000 now, actually. There's about 130 certified green businesses in San Mateo County. So again, all these programs around the state of California, including our program here in San Mateo County, share a common brand, communication tools, and marketing. We have shared guidelines and performance measures and a database tracking system that we are all using around the state of California. So if you are certified in our program in San Mateo County, you're also joining a network of certified businesses around the state of California. And then finally, we do get funding from the state of California that gets dispersed to the different programs that are part of this California network. Next slide. We serve a variety of business sectors in the program. So we have specialized checklists to address the specific issues relevant to these different sectors. The office retail checklist is kind of our main baseline checklist, the ones that we use the most when we're working with local businesses and organizations. But we do have specialized checklists and services for restaurants, for medical services, breweries, lodging, food manufacturers, garment cleaning, etc. In total, we're servicing about 30 to 35 different business sectors. Next slide. Next slide, please. Thanks. So just a broad overview. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but just kind of the broad sweeping of why you would want to participate in this program, or why a business or organization or any entity would want to participate in this program. The basic reason that we offer is it's an opportunity to increase your own sustainability, efficiency, and resiliency within your own organization. Our measures are set up to establish a healthier workplace for employees, for customers, for anybody that lives in or that works in or visits the workplace. We provide opportunity to save a significant amount of money by lowering your utility bills, and we offer access to free technical, financial, and marketing resources. And finally, this is just an opportunity to support the green economy and, in a broad sense, to be the future that you want to see by walking the talk and seeing how you measure up with a set of practices and then making some continual improvements. So even if you are already as green as can be, there's always opportunities for improvement. And that's what we offer in our program, is an opportunity to assess, measure, and then make continual improvements. Next slide, please. So broad scope, what do we cover in the Green Business Program? We look at a variety of different impact areas, and then we have measures to address these impact areas. So very broadly, we look at energy conservation. This addresses things such as lighting, equipment, energy efficiency. We look at pollution prevention, so green cleaning products, safe disposal of hazards, indoor air quality. We're looking at water conservation, so having low flow fixtures, for example, or minimizing water use in your outdoor landscaping. We look at waste reduction, your general reduce, reuse, recycle, as well as environmental purchasing. We do look at wastewater and runoff in the landscape of a business where it's relevant. So in general, only rain down the drain and controlling runoff. We also look at transportation, so really supporting transportation alternatives, commute incentives, alternative fleets, helping get employees and customers out of single occupancy vehicles to take advantage of different commuting and alternative transportation options. And then we generally look at community to support community and employee well-being with sort of education and promotions of green practices in general out to the community. Next slide. So in general, the practices we look at, so all of the practices that we look at are set up to preserve the environment and contribute to mitigating climate change. Some of our measures also save money, and sometimes a significant amount of money. Some of our measures support the health, people's health, the health of your employees and your visitors. And many of our measures actually do all three of these things: protect the environment, save the business money, and support the health of workers, visitors, and the community. Next slide. So this is a fairly new development of our program where we've developed a set of certification tiers. So the certified tier, the one in the middle, is really what we've been operating under all along. So say the office retail checklist has about 50 to 60 some odd measures amongst those different categories that I just mentioned: energy, water, waste, et cetera. In an effort to increase the equity focus of our program and reach out to businesses and communities that have not been serviced by the Green Business Program or even other types of environmental programs, we have established an entry-level checklist. So this is basically an abbreviated version of our Green Business checklist to get businesses, to introduce businesses to sustainability and launch them on a sustainability journey. So instead of having the 50 to 60 measures, this is like 10 to 12 measures that are really some of the most important measures: energy efficient lighting, recycling and waste management, green cleaning products, et cetera. They're also some of the measures that save the business money, and they're also some of the measures that improve environmental health. So we have this entry-level checklist as a way to reach out to businesses that have not been serviced by these type of programs and launch them on their sustainability journey. And then, of course, the certified checklist, which is our main checklist, which is most of what we do. And then we have an innovator tier for those businesses that go above and beyond certification and really demonstrate themselves as leaders in the community. The innovator tier is really for mission-based companies or organizations that are, again, go above and beyond in terms of their commitment to sustainability. Next slide. So just a little bit about the certification process, real briefly. We have a 5-step process. The first step is that the business registers on our Green Biz Tracker. It's our database that we track the entire Green Business certification process. Once a business signs up, we do an initial site visit where we review the measures with the Green Business Program staff, and we check off the measures that are already being met, and we come up with a sort of to-do list of measures that would need to be met in order to become Green Business certified. And then step 3 is us providing the resources, funding, and assistance to implement those measures. The next is just a continual process of step-ins, site visits to make continual improvements of those measures, with a final verification process to make sure all the measures are being met. At that point, we issue the certification and recognition and start with our promotion of the green certification accomplishments for the business. This whole process generally takes 6 to 12 weeks. It can take longer. It can be shorter. It really depends on the on where the business is starting from, and then of course the resources available to contribute to the process. But we handhold the entire way throughout this 6 to 12 week process. So we really are set up to make this as painless and easy as possible with lots and lots of assistance. Okay, next slide, please. So like I said, we track the entire process online through our Green Biz Tracker. This is really set up. Oops, slides
This is the top
ahead.
So unparalleled use for Palo Alto. Bain has been here
I'm also hearing
and they're willing to move out sooner.
Echo or a voice
They've
on the call.
made an arrangement with the
Could you mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay, I think you jumped ahead with the slides, Anna. If you could back.
Sorry, I was trying to do something else on my screen.
No worries.
Are we here?
No, we're back. Nope, I think you're going forward. I'm trying to go backwards.
We were here, right?
Nope, we were back. You just had it.
Okay.
We're back one more, but we can jump to this slide. I'll jump right into program benefits. So what do the businesses get for participating in our program? Just want to make sure I didn't skip anything important. I was going to talk about the Green Biz Tracker. So we do have an online database that tracks the green business process from start to finish. That's the slide that I just flashed up, which is really set up to be a self-assessment tool. So it really is an easy to use framework for you to measure how you are doing in regards to a set of green business practices. And we have on our online tracker, we have tools and tips and some assessment reports. We actually have a built-in climate calculator that's very easy to use, et cetera. Okay, so jumping to this slide, program benefits. What do I get as a business or organization or any entity that's participating in the program? The first is the free consulting to improve workplace environment and save money. So again, the program is 100% free because it's funded by San Mateo County with some support that we get from the state. Access to the rebates, funding, and product giveaways that we have available to help businesses green up and organizations green up their operations. Use of the Green Business logo to market and promote your sustainability commitment and accomplishment. We provide a printed wall certificate that is signed by the Board of Supervisors. All the businesses get a nice, signed Green Business certificate in a recycled barnwood frame. And it's just a really nice thing to kind of put up in your place of business or your organization to demonstrate your green business accomplishment. We do have a statewide green business directory where your organization or business can be listed along with the close to 5,000 green business entities around the state. And then, like I said, we provide free marketing and promotions. So social media promotions, we do print and digital advertising for our participating businesses and organizations throughout the year. We provide a marketing toolkit with some ready-made marketing content and graphics. And as I mentioned, access to rebates and funding, which I'm going to talk about in detail right here in this next couple of slides. So next slide, please. So some of the resources that we have available. So right now, and actually throughout the year, we have a $500 per business rebate. So this is $500 for a business to complete any measure on the checklist. The qualification is that the business must complete the entry-level tier. And even for that entry-level tier, the business could get the $250 and then an additional $250 as they complete the full certification. A business that completes the full certification can actually get the full $500. Now, this rebate is actually doubled for BIPOC-owned businesses. So that's $1,000 per business, potentially, if you reach the full certification, $500 for the entry level. And right now, we are actually doubling those rebates. And by we, I mean the California network that we work with is doubling those rebates if an organization completes the certification by the end of November. So that's potentially up to $2,000 in rebates to make any kinds of green business upgrade in your organization. And there's a lot of measures that this could qualify for, whether it's buying green cleaning products, upgrading your lighting, buying a water filter for your business so you don't have to serve water in plastic bottles. There's a whole variety of items that this funding can be used for. Next slide. So in addition to that $500 up to $2,000 rebate, the County of San Mateo has made available what we call prebates, which is basically pre-purchased items, so that a business doesn't have to actually lay out money to make an upgrade and then get reimbursed. We are pre-purchasing either items or services on behalf of the business for any measure on the checklist. Businesses can access this at the entry-level tier. There are some qualifications. The businesses must live in one of these qualifying zip codes that have been identified as particularly vulnerable zip codes by the county, and net income of the business organization cannot exceed $120,000. And if there's businesses that are interested in this, but somehow they don't live within those qualifying zip codes, we have lobbied the county to make some exceptions where we saw that there was a real need for this resource. Next slide, please. Some other resources we have available right now. We also have a $500 water rebate to be used for water conservation. So if you need to replace a leaky toilet or faucet or install other low flow fixtures, we can use funding to do that. The qualifications are pretty broad on that. So it's widely available funding for participating green businesses. We launched a new program this year in conjunction with PG&E called Simplified Savings, which provides free energy upgrades for qualifying businesses, generally defined hard to reach businesses or businesses located in disadvantaged communities. This is significant. I just heard recently of a business that we were able to get up to $8,000 in energy and free energy upgrades for participating in this program. And then in addition to that, we do, as we're going through the certification process, we just have some additional giveaways. We have compostable foodware for restaurants that we could provide. We have water conservation devices like low flow aerators on faucets and all kinds of reuse items that we provide to businesses we work with, water bottles, utensil sets, produce bags, et cetera. Those are more kind of nice sort of giveaway items that, just sort of contribute to being green in the workplace. Next slide, please. So just a couple more things I want to mention, and I'm going to open it up for questions. We are piloting a green business resiliency pilot project. In general, we are really trying to broaden the definition and the scope of sustainability to incorporate business resiliency. We believe that business resiliency and business sustainability go hand in hand, and we are trying to articulate this and put this concept forward through our green business program with a set of resiliency measures that we are encouraging businesses to meet as we go through the certification process. And most importantly, gives them access to this funding that I just mentioned so that we can help make purchases or upgrades or processes or services to help businesses be more resilient and be particularly prepared for potential emergencies. So this is how that measure reads. We're basically helping a business be more resilient to climate change and extreme weather by taking actions of purchasing upgrades that contribute to emergency preparedness and climate resiliency. So next slide. So within that measure, we have 7 different approaches that we are recommending businesses take. And this is actually a voluntary measure for now. It's just a way for us to, again, expand our notion of sustainability and green business to incorporate business resiliency and preparedness. So we can use our funding that we have to help make these upgrades. So we've already distributed, I believe, 18 air filters. We just purchased a whole bunch of emergency disaster backpack kits that we are now distributing to businesses. And most recently, we just bought 3 portable sump pumps for businesses in East Palo Alto in particular, to help them be prepared for a potentially devastating flood season. Next slide. So just to show that through our Green Biz Tracker, we are able to measure impacts of this program. And we have a really nice interface and reporting outcome or reporting capability to print out the impacts for both at the countywide level, the citywide level, and also for a particular business. So business can actually access the database and produce their own environmental impact report. And we have a nice graphical interface so we can actually make the numbers meaningful. So you can see here, countywide, we've got 9 million pounds of CO2, and we're able to make the equivalency of that's planting 14,000 acres of urban trees. Same for saving 295 garbage trucks worth of waste, et cetera. Energy saved enough to power 169 houses for an entire year. So this is just a neat graphical interface that we are able to provide to participating businesses. Next slide. So just in general, how can we work together with Thrive, with the organization members of Thrive? First is get your offices certified. We do a lot of hand-holding. We make it really easy. We've got tons of resources, and it's just a really great way to both save money, provide a healthy work environment, and just walk the talk to help us be more green and promote this out to the community. The other ways we can work together is doing direct outreach to potential businesses. If you know businesses or organizations in your community, please connect them with us because we want to make sure they have access to the resources that we are providing. And also we welcome opportunities to host additional presentations, recruitment events like a lunch and learn, additional webinars, et cetera. Our staff is available to promote the program to the communities that you work with within your organizations. Next slide. So with that, I'll open up for questions. I do have one more slide with the contact information. So, yep, there we go. So let's go green and we can show you how to become a green business, handhold you, walk you through the process. The site for where you register to sign up is right there. I encourage folks on this call, if you're curious about green business and want to access the online checklist, go ahead and register. It doesn't commit you to anything. It just gives you access to the online checklist and you can explore the program. And of course, my contact information is there as well. And I'm glad to have a one-on-one follow-up with anyone at any time. Any questions?
Thank you. We have some questions in the chat that were asked during the presentation. The first one was from Andrea. How often do you recommend certification?
Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. So I'm not sure I understand your question, but I could clarify that the certification is is good for 4 years. So there's a term tied to the certification and it's a 4-year term. So a business organization or entity like the City of Brisbane library that you and I went through needs to get recertified every 4 years. So there is a renewal process to keep the certification active.
Thank you. Yes, I believe some facilities in Millbrae have been certified, but I would expect they probably need recertification. So that was why I asked.
Yes,
great.
and
Thank you.
Yeah, we have had a lot of organizations and businesses drop off during the pandemic, and we've been kind of scrambling to get people back in the fold. We had kind of an extended courtesy to, it's like you're not technically certified, it's actually expired, but we're still honoring certification just because we know how hard hit, especially small businesses have been, and we still want to support them.
Great.
And we had another one from Debbie in the chat. She said the biggest costs for climate protective upgrades are in solar installation and electrification of gas appliances. Can you help a nonprofit with fundraising to meet these costs? For example, is there a list of foundations to whom such groups might apply? Are there any group buy efforts for purchasing solar energy storage batteries or electric heat pump, water heaters, or furnaces?
Yes. The answer is yes. Debbie, we would be happy to help you access those resources. There are rebates, there are funding, definitely for electrification, definitely for heat pumps. There's a lot of incentives for solar. And we, as part of our work with you, as we go through the Green Business Program, we help identify and connect you with those resources that we know are available. And if there are additional ones that we don't know are available, we want to know about them. So we will, put our team to researching it. I know you did have a question about faith-based organizations, and we definitely welcome partnerships with faith-based organizations. And the California Green Business Network has done work with faith-based organizations around the state. Most recently in San Mateo County, we've worked with Peninsula Sinai Congregation in Foster City, and we welcome partnerships with others as well. Yeah, especially as we look at resiliency and the opportunity for faith-based organizations to serve as resiliency hubs, and sort of tying that in with our approach to connecting resiliency with sustainability.
I'm familiar with the good rebates that are available through Peninsula Clean Energy, but a lot of times we don't even have enough money in a lot of the congregations to even get started with that process, because rebates don't cover everything. And so finding foundations that could also support, maybe putting in a third or a half would be really helpful, that kind of a thing. And that's one of the challenges that for a lot of congregations don't really have that much of a underlying resource base. They can manage to pay their minister's salary and maybe a part-time administrator and keep the utilities going, but they don't have a lot of underlying stuff. Some of them do, but not all of them. So that's the question. Okay, thanks.
Got it. Yeah, I'd love to follow up with you. It'd be great, Debbie, if we could set up a time to meet and connect and
Yeah.
kind of put our heads together, because I think
Okay.
our organization can be a resource.
Great, good, thanks.
This is Larry in the chat. Lawrence, can I ask a couple of questions?
Please.
Yeah, first, clarification on the groups in which you can work or not work. Cities and within cities, homeowners groups, homeowners associations, do you get into that? Is that a muddy area, or can you talk to that?
So, yeah, so we have worked with homeowners associations.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yes, and yes, it is a muddy area, but we don't necessarily shy away from muddy areas. We have a multifamily checklist that we use. It's actually a property manager checklist is what it is. So it's not always the tightest fit, but where we can work with homeowner associations. I mean, at the very least, we worked with a homeowner association to get their offices certified, and then use the landscaping checklist that we have to look at how they're managing the grounds, short of actually going into people's homes. What do they have control over of the association? Common buildings, roads and landscaping. And so we are able to work in those areas, and we have worked with homeowner associations, and we do have some, checklist measures that we can, that we could bring to bear on doing that.
Okay, and a second question, a little bit different. Speaking of a company, how deep do you get into the financial? I don't know, like if you work at the CFO of companies, because this requires obviously investment on their part, budgeting on their part, whether it be equipment, redo, and all that. Do you get deep into that area with them, or is that more on them, or is there even a third party that they work with if it gets that deep, granular?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a little bit outside of our scope. I mean, we do where we can. Most of the businesses we work with, again, are small. We work really with small businesses, and so where we're able to connect them with financing, say for example, on-bill financing for solar. We will make those connections and we will facilitate that. If it comes to huge infrastructure improvements and capital improvements, it's a little beyond our scope. Of course, we support it where we can, but most of our work is really focused on small and medium-sized businesses. So we haven't really delved into the finance piece in the way that in the way you're suggesting.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, it looks like there are some more questions in the chat. Andrea, sorry, I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but she's asked, would you be able to tell us which businesses in Millbrae are currently certified? Or maybe there's a place where she can find that information.
There's a place where you could find that information, but of course, Andrea, I would be glad to just, download the list from the database and send it to you offline. But the California, if you go to the website I put up the greenbusinessca.org. If you just click on find a business, there's the map of green businesses all around the state, and you can search by zip code. You can search on the map and zoom in. And so that is probably the easiest way to find the businesses that are certified in Millbrae. But there are businesses that are going through recertification and maybe they're not on the map. So the best way is just to have me do a little query and print it up and send it to you, and I'd be glad to do that. But you can, you can find that on the Green Business directory if you go to greenbusinessca.org.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, but I can't tell you offhand because I don't have all 130 businesses memorized. Although I recognize them when I see them.
Lawrence, can you talk about some of the common obstacles that you see for small businesses to getting certified, or maybe even perceptions that it will be hard even if it doesn't end up being so?
Sure. So one of the barriers, I presented a slide and I talked about our online Green Biz tracker, which is actually really easy to use. It's set up for small businesses, but sometimes people don't even have time to do that, right? And even some businesses, when we're doing our equity work, maybe are not as technologically, savvy as other businesses. So accessing the online tracker and doing this sort of self-assessment process yourself sometimes is a barrier to businesses. That is not a barrier because you don't need to do that. We want people to do that because it becomes a really meaningful experience for you to learn about green business and be able to assess your company organization. But if you don't have time and you don't have resources, you don't have the capability, we will walk you through the green business checklist directly. We will come on site, we'll go over the measures one by one. We make it very easy to handhold and go through the process. So I think, so accessing the online checklist, maybe some technological barrier, but we're able to overcome that. There's maybe a perceived time barrier. How much time is this going to take to do? And we're able to overcome that, again, by really hand-holding you throughout the whole process. The first thing we do is we assess the Green Biz checklist. If we're going through the full certification, let's say, of the 50 measures, we come on site. You're most likely meeting 30 to 40 of the measures already, just because it's just good business practices and you care about what you're doing, you care about the environment. So we're able to narrow it down to like a to-do list of 10 measures, right? So all of a sudden 60 measures just became 10 measures, very doable. Some of it we have templates. For example, one of the requirements is to have an environmental policy in place. We have a template for what that environmental policy looks like. And our team will even help adapt it for your business. There are some costs, right? So you're like, oh, I need to buy new green cleaning products because the ones I'm using weren't the eco-certified ones. They were the more toxic ones. Again, we have resources and funding to do that. We can actually, buy up to $500 of cleaning products if that is the thing that you're lacking, and kind of a cost center for you to upgrade to be more green in your workplace. So technology, time, and money, and we're able to address all of those with the resources that we have available. But great question. I could tell you for some like mid-size organizations, sometimes interacting across departments can be challenging. So you have one champion who's like, I love green business, I want to do this, but my office manager does all the ordering and she just loves this paper that we use and doesn't want to use the recycled content because this is the stuff that works in the printer, or the toilet paper, or the green cleaning products. They really like the way that one cleans. So sometimes getting everybody on your team within the company on the same page, sometimes that can be challenging. And again, we just help work through that by providing as much education and support as we can.
Rosa?
Yeah, hi. I joined a little bit late, and sorry, I'm doing some research in the lab, but this was really important for me to listen in. And I had a question around the cultural and language barriers. We work in East Palo Alto, where a lot of our business owners are maybe Latinx, so we're working in Spanish. So do you have people that can go out there in Spanish and have these conversations? And then also things like the cleaning supplies, fabuloso is toxic. But culturally, I was raised with it. We all were raised with it. So do you have that kind of engagement piece to kind of explain that?
Yes. So about half of our staff is bilingual. One of our San Mateo County outreach specialists lives in East Palo Alto. Luis Viscardo, many of you probably know him. And he is basically doing outreach and providing services in Spanish to the Latinx community, mostly in East Palo Alto, because that's where he lives, and he's just a huge part of that community. The cultural barriers, yeah, we come across that all the time. Fabuloso is like the product that we know, like all the Latinx businesses we work with love the Fabuloso. And so we've been providing Simple Green that also has kind of, it's eco-certified, but it has kind of a, piney kind of scent to it. So yeah, and that is an issue, and we just address it. Again, because we have resources we're able to provide, like we have a storage full of cleaning products. So we just bring it out. We say, we know you love the Fabuloso, but try this Simple Green certified product and see if you like it. We're able to drop off the product. We'll say, here's a gallon of it. See if you like it. So we're able to do that. And most importantly, yes, we have staff that speaks the language and is from the culture, especially with the Latinx community in East Palo Alto. And we've had a lot of success since we brought Louise onto our team.
Awesome. Thank
And
you
we
so
are
much.
also building partnerships. We have a great partnership with a group called the Peninsula Chinese Business Association. And we're trying to build on the success that we've had with the Latinx community in San Mateo County. I'd say about 60% of all the businesses that we've certified this year have actually been like Spanish-speaking Latinx businesses, mostly using that entry-level tier that I spoke to. And we're trying to replicate that now with Chinese and specifically Asian American-owned businesses, working with our CBO partner, the Peninsula Chinese Business Association. So yes, providing language-specific and culturally relevant services is really important to us, and I'm proud to say that we're having success.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Looks like there's a question in the chat that was not yet answered. One more from Nicole. Can you share a little more about the new leadership level that is beyond the standard certification?
Sure, the innovation tier. So that is really set up for so it's an additional set of measures that are focused on community education and promotion and leadership. So we have a set of measures that are like hosting an Earth Day event, mentoring another, I think it's 3 businesses to go through the green business certification process. So not just like referring them, but actually mentoring them through the process. Providing some additional education. We have like a certain number of like per year of actually either hosting an event or attending an event, newsletter articles, having a mission statement within your company that actually reflects sustainability. So there's a number of measures to choose from in order to meet that innovator tier. And so for businesses that are really, really committed to sustainability, it's not a huge lift to get to that next level. You've already done the hard work by getting the certification tier. I see a hand raised. Yes, John.
Yeah, sorry, I had to step away for a few minutes, so I apologize if this already came up, but I know that Debbie talked about electrification, and obviously the way out of this climate crisis is to stop burning fossil fuels. So I'm wondering if there's any thought to making your certifications have some sort of, I don't know, call it a fossil-free pledge, where they will agree to, whenever they have the opportunity to replace a piece of equipment that's, burned out and needs to be replaced anyways, that they will do it with electric, as long as it's, cost effective and technically feasible. Is that like something that you've thought about putting into the certification criteria?
Yes, I don't think it has been presented in that way. We have at the statewide level, there's a standards committee that is consistently upgrading and improving on the measures. We do have some electrification measures that we've been increasingly folding into the certification checklists. But not in the way that you just articulated in terms of, a pledge to move towards electrification. But that's a really great idea and something that I'd definitely be willing and interested to bring up to our standards committee. We do have so in our checklist criteria, we have core requirements that must be met, and then we have elective requirements. So generally, it's like a list of 5 to 10 things within a certain category that you can check off to meet that category. And so one of the electives related to reducing greenhouse gas emissions is committing to reducing your greenhouse gas emissions by 20% over the course of, I believe it's within the certification timeframe. So that's an example of a pledge to decrease your carbon emissions and then an action plan in order to achieve that. And I could see doing something similar with electrification, John. So I'm like, that's a really great suggestion. I actually really like it.
Okay, thank you.
The electrification measures we do have are definitely, we're doing big promotion of heat pumps. electric appliances and ranges for the restaurant industry, definitely electrification of fleets. Those are kind of where we've been able to fold in electrification, you know, in terms of things that are like within our framework. But we're constantly, like I said, we're constantly upgrading the measures. And electrification is really important for our stakeholders and our funders. So I'm actually going to take that suggestion.
Yes, Debbie?
Well, you know, just along those lines, again, thinking like a lot of churches have kitchens and they have old gas stoves. And if there was possible to get a group buy of stoves that would fit into, you know, they're industrial sized kitchens often, but people can't afford to replace them. And that would be a really valuable thing if the county could put together a way that, especially other nonprofits that do have kitchens, they could all work together on doing that. It would really be helpful to bring people together, and then we could tell the manufacturers, you know, we've got 20 orders here. Can you give us a deal? Something like that. It's not something that an individual organization can do, but if a group could do it together with support of a county office, that would be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would be willing and we would be able to do that. And by we, I mean Environmental Innovations, separate from the county. We're a little bit more nimble. We can do things a little bit, more easily than a government agency can, because we're an independent company. With our nonprofit spinoff. So, and we have done something similar. So I know I didn't even mention this, but another big project that we're working with the county is related to their new disposable foodware ordinance. So we work with the Office of Sustainability to reach out to restaurants and help them make the transition to compostable foodware and reusable foodware in order to meet the new disposable foodware ordinance that is being implemented throughout San Mateo County in the various jurisdictions. And we have done a big group buy from foodware vendors, and then to make that foodware available to local restaurants. So we do have some precedent for doing that, in other sectors. And with the right organization and the right community partners, we would be able to step in, and we would welcome being able to do something innovative like that to help the local businesses, especially the faith-based organizations. That would be awesome.
It seems to me that's a way to, get the ball rolling faster than waiting for each individual organization to kind of think of, well, I can do it and now I've got the money. But if there was some cooperative effort to bring people together and really benefit everybody economically, even the manufacturers and the salespeople, because, if you reduce it, but you save them all the marketing costs and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Debbie, you have a lot of great ideas, and I think there's a lot of areas where we can help and we can partner. So I'm hope that we're able to follow up after this meeting with a one-on-one.
I'll send you a note. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I look forward to that.
And we will be sending out everything from the meeting to the whole group. So you'll get the slides, the recording, and contact information for Lauren, so that we can make sure that people get in touch with each other after this is over. Are there any last questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you, Lawrence. This was an amazing presentation, very informative, and we really enjoyed having you. So with that, I think we're going to close out a little bit early.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks everyone. And thanks for having me, Thrive. And I hope that you go to the greenbizca.org website and register your organization or business, just to at least test it out and see what it looks like, because we really want to work with you, and we want your leadership in demonstrating environmental responsibility and bringing it out to others in the community. So
great. Yeah, good program. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.